Welcome to On The Spot with OPPO, where we connect with inspiring entrepreneurs and innovators making their mark. We're coming to you from Munich during the UEFA Champions final weekend. And today we have a guest here who knows how to chase the epics. With decades in live entertainment business and a recently minted Guinness World Record title, James will tell us about storytelling, partnerships, and stories that move people. Welcome, James.
Thanks, Danny.
We're here for a very special edition of the podcast today, where we're watching the final game of the UEFA Champions League tonight, and we'll be watching PSG play against Inter Milan. So, do you have a favorite?
I don't really have a dog in the fight, but I think, part of my family's French, so I'm erring towards the French side and the underdog. I like. I'm not sure if PSG is the underdog, but I like the fact that they haven't won the Champions League before, so I'd like to see.
Usually I like the underdog story as well.
I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them win it.
Yeah, lovely. And so before we jump into getting some of your insights in your field, live entertainment, maybe do you want to share a bit about yourself, walk us through your professional journey?
Yeah, sure. So look, I'm EVP, Executive Vice President of Live Nation, which is the world's largest live entertainment company, listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So my role is I head up partnerships and media, which is one of the divisions of the company across Asia. So I've been in Asia 20 years. It's been quite a journey. I mean, I started off doing something completely different to live entertainment. So actually, to start off, my first job was as a futures and options broker, working for a securities house in the city of London and Wall Street, trading sugar options and arbitraging that. So that seems decades ago, but I left that because I wanted to do something that I was really passionate about. And I've always loved sport and live entertainment. So I became quite a late age. I became an intern at a company called IMG, which used to run World Cups and had a big media presence in golf and football and sport. So I started working for them about 22 years ago, and then moved to Asia after about 3 years, and I've been in Asia ever since, so for about 20 years. And I've been working for Live Nation for the last 10 years.
10 years,
yeah.
Wow.
It goes quick. It goes quick.
I'm 4 years with OPPO, but
okay.
10 years.
Yeah.
That's I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's been it's a very live, vibrant industry. Music is people's number one passion point globally, so it's very connecting, which is great. It's a very fun and vibrant industry to work in.
Would you say the transition from finance to IMG is a big turning point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's chalk and cheese. Very. I mean, look, there were some learnings that I took from finance into my new career, but very different, different industries.
Yeah, and I'm sure you had a very vibrant career. Like, what would you say were like the biggest challenges, and how do you navigate these challenges?
Biggest challenges, I guess communication within Asia. So I look after 9 markets, which are all very, very different, right?
Yeah.
From North Asia to Southeast Asia, language challenges. But communication is not just verbal and what you say; it's how you say it and how you get it across. So that's been fun, learning the nuances of, I don't speak Japanese, Chinese, Thai, but being able to communicate through not just what I'm saying, but how I'm saying it.
And looking at your industry, what excites you the most, in today's world?
Yeah, I mean, look, just the growth of it. I mean, I mentioned that it's, live entertainment music is the number one passion point. Sport as well, people love sport. But we just look at the growth. We talk about the experience economy a lot. Mm-hmm. So people are spending more money on experiences as opposed to things, and that's a trend that's continuing now. So the growth of our business has been phenomenal. We're growing at a huge pace, and I think where the opportunity lies is particularly in Asia. So, you know, we're looking at, we've just acquired a company in Japan, which is one of the world's largest music markets. So, you know, there's a huge growth opportunity, I think, in those markets, and an ability for us to, you know, satisfy that demand for the experience economy. So that's what excites me.
It sounds exciting where there's even though you guys are big, but there's still like a lot of like a playing field where you need to get the market share in, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, whether it's Asia or LATAM or Europe, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you're just saying nowadays people tend to spend more on experiences rather than like, you know, possessions, belongings, like tangible things. I think I'm part of that demographic. So I just recently watched a Hans Zimmer concert.
Yeah. We talked about it.
Yeah, and the Fine X8 Ultra was like a good companion. But I guess we'll speak into that phenomena later on. But yeah, we're here during the UCL, you know, final weekend. What does this event mean to you personally? You know, football.
So yeah, so football, and you know, I love these big social occasions, right? These, you know, an ability to connect with people and share, you know, different moments. So I'm super excited. I mean, I love all sport. My family's more rugby, like my grandfather. My grandfather captained Scotland for rugby. So so the world's first ever televised rugby game was in 1938. I know because my grandfather played in it at Twickenham in front of the King. So, you know, those sort of being able to sort of capture a moment and then sort of relive it and look at it, that's very cool. So, yeah, my family's sort of more rugby, but I sort of was brought up on football as well. My team won in Europe last week, so that was very cool. Tottenham, but I've never been to a Champions League final. Wow. I've been to World Cups on rugby and football. I've been to a lot of, you know, golf and tennis. So, you know, I've been very lucky, but I've never been to a Champions League final.
There's always a first, right?
Never been to a Champions League final, so this is going to be.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, and like Allianz Arena as well. I've visited, but I've never seen a match there. Harry Kane's been, you know, he won the league with Bayern Munich this year. So yeah, it's going to be great. It's an amazing venue. So 66,000 people.
It's going to connect you with like some of your special moments, right?
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Nice. Yeah, and speaking about football, do you see like any parallels between football and your industry?
Yeah, it's like live entertainment, right? So people are, you know, people want those live experience, that emotional connection. So absolutely, you know, it's one of those. I'm looking forward to seeing 66,000 people. You know, it's goosebumps time. It's, you know, that emotional energy. It doesn't really translate well on a screen. I mean, it's great. You can watch a football match and you can sort of get involved, but actually being there, it's completely different.
Speaking about this, for someone who's never been to a live event, what's your pitch?
My pitch? Russell Wallach, who's global president of sponsorship and media, so he would say, look, he termed an expression, I sell goosebumps. So, you know, that's what we do. I sell goosebumps.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm just trying to rethink when were the times I get goosebumps. Is like live events or listening to a song that you really resonate to. And if it's live, I think that is more like that experience is more magnified.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people want the, especially today, you know, social currency. It's like I was there, I was in that moment that something special happened.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully it's you know, like some of the semi-finals. You know, I think there were 7 goals scored. You know, 4-3. You know, hopefully it's one of those and not a. You know, a 1-0.
Come on! Like, the finals, it's always like very defensive, right?
For sure. but even those, there's some poetry in those types of dramas.
Yeah. Whether it's a music festival or a Champions League final.
Yeah.
What do you think is something that brands underestimate about live performances, live experiences?
I think just how much permission brands have to play a role, right? You know, you know, consumers or people attending events, you know, the research that we've seen, they're really open for brands to play a role, but you can't just parachute in. You have to be authentic, and you have to be relevant. And one of the things that you can do is, you know, I think 90% of people that we've interviewed and the research that says that brands can enhance the live event experience, right? So if you think about it, I think we're bombarded by 3,000 ads a day. I've read that somewhere. Need to fact check that. But instead, you know, you have permission to actually, you know, speak to our fans and our consumer in a relevant way. So how do you do that? And you know, one of the things that we've built out is, you know, the fan journey. So 4 distinct phases and ways that brands can communicate. It's like, you know, discover. How do you discover an event? You know, plan, experience, and then relive. So one of the things I'm looking forward to is reliving this experience, having taken some great content, being able to share with my friends and family. I think that's key.
Yeah, I mean, now you have the Find X8 Ultra. I hope you will have the chance to take some special moments tonight.
Absolutely.
Oh, but speaking about this Find X8 Ultra, you've been using it for 24 hours now.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite moment right now? You know, this device is all about its camera. So do you have like a special, a favorite picture that you took?
So, I mean, the first thing, I've been using it, yeah, for
24 hours.
24 hours-ish. Yeah, the picture quality is amazing. It's really great. So favorite moments. I mean, look, you know, we went to the BMW Museum yesterday. So I took some great. I've just passed my motorcycle test. I didn't realise that BMW actually started creating motorcycles before they created cars. Yeah. So I took, someone took a photo on the phone of me on one of their bikes. So that was pretty cool.
So BMW is on your shopping cart right now.
maybe we'll see.
Yeah. So what do you think make these moments, you know, life experiences so valuable for both the audience and for the brand?
Yeah, I mean, like in today's age, I think everyone would agree it's easier to connect to people than ever before, right?
Yeah.
But it's harder to connect with people. So, you know, live experience, people are craving, and our research shows that people are craving that human connection. Right? So live events gives you that emotional intensity and the ability to communicate with people. These are cultural moments, right? Yeah. That people want to be a part of. They want to be, hey, I was there when this happened, or you know, I like to say, you know, music is the closest thing that people have to a time machine. Yeah, if you hear a soundtrack or a song and it takes you back to that moment in time, that's incredibly powerful. And from a brand perspective or a partnership perspective, when people have that emotional intensity, they're a lot more open. Yeah. And so it's a great way if you want to build loyalty or relevance, you know, to your target audience or demographic. It's an amazing opportunity to plug in when they're listening the most, right? Yeah. They're actually, you know, they want brands to be there as long as it enhances the whole enhances the whole experience.
It's complementary. Right? It's not,
as
you mentioned, just parachuting.
Can't parachute in. How do you enhance? You know, we're going to go to the event today, right? Yeah. So how can you enhance that experience, right? How do you be an experience curator? Yeah, I think that's the key.
Okay. Yeah, this ties into what I want. My next question: what are the ingredients that, you know, make a brand partnership really work? You know, where it's not just boom, hey, here's my money, like, I'm here.
So I talk about the fan journey and it's adding something, a benefit enhancing my experience or your experience going to the event, right? So MasterCard's a sponsor of the Champions League today. We also work with them as well, and it's offering things, whether it's ticket access, hey, I can actually get to the event. That's fantastic. Or when you're actually at the event, it's how do you enhance that experience on side, either through a surprise and delight, or some simple hospitality, something that or some access, or providing something that I can then take some great video or footage, and I can uplift to my social content and share with the world, and magnify everything. So all of that together.
Yeah, in an increasingly fragmented media landscape, how do live events stand out for, as unique opportunities for connection?
I mean, it goes back to, it's a very rare moment where you have people's undivided attention. You think about it tonight, you're going to have a few hours where people are just fully focused on what is unfolding in front of them, right? No disruption, and that emotional connection and that excitement, those goosebumps, right? So it's a real opportunity for brands, again, to play a part when fans are really listening, right? Yeah. So I think that's one of the key things.
And yeah, you mentioned you were in not Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga's concert, like 3 of them in Singapore.
Yeah.
Were there like goosebump moments, like in those 3 shows?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the first time I've seen her, and it was. I describe it as opera meets theatre meets storytelling, and it's a real production. It opens and it's like a wow, and then you look at the crowd and and everyone's phones go up as well. So there were probably 55,000 phones there, capturing that moment and sharing that moment to hundreds of thousands of people. But yeah, it doesn't translate digitally. You've got to be there, feel it, see it, and it's just an incredible experience. You're like, wow, this is really cool. Yeah. And it's sort of live entertainment at its best. And a big deal. I'm trying to think. I like going to sport, and I love going to sport, and obviously I'm a huge music fan, but I'm always trying to look at the differences. And I think you would sum it up as, sport tonight. They're probably half the audience is going to leave disappointed at the end.
Yeah. It's a zero-sum game. It's a zero-sum game.
At the end of the game, and like the other half's going to be, completely like ecstatic that their team won. Yeah. But music, everyone
wins.
Everyone wins. Yeah. Everyone leaves with a smile on their face. Yeah. But just looking at how music and live entertainment doesn't divide us, but brings everyone together. Yeah. We did Coldplay in Hong Kong as well, and again. Chris Martin's message was about, hey, look, in a very divided world, we're actually a lot more similar than we think, and it's just getting everyone together and just everyone having a good time, right? Yeah. Forgetting about your life issues and work hassles and all that sort of stuff. It's like, look, I'm going to switch off, just enjoy myself, live for the moment, which I think is key.
Yeah. And over the years we've seen an increase, a surge in virtual engagements or like online events. Like, what do you think live events still offer that digital experiences can't replicate?
It's that goosebumps moments, right? Actually feeling it, being there and seeing it. But we definitely see digital and as hugely complementary to the whole experience, right? Everyone wants to share nowadays. FOMO is real. Yeah. I was there sort of moment, and people love to take content on their phone, love to upload it to social media, love to show their friends that they were there, love doing stories and reels and all of those sorts of things. So, for us, we need to lean into that. So we've got partnerships with Snapchat and or Snap and a number of other media owners, where it's an ability for people who go to our event to capture that content and share it with all their friends and families and influencers. So that's absolutely key.
Yeah, with this trend, where you see more people taking out their phones and not being there to enjoy the experience. What's your take on this?
It's a double-edged sword, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of events now where, I mean, we talked about Hans Zimmer, right? Mm-hmm. So I went to a candlelit concert, and I purposely just didn't take my phone out, even though I wanted to capture the moment. So I think there's something really to be said for just putting the phone away sometimes.
So you're like,
and just living it, and just, you know, it was interesting talking about sports. So Rory McIlroy won the Masters, and he completed all 4 majors. And what was interesting is, for me, is that they were saying, "Oh, have you watched that moment back?" And he was like, "No, I don't want to watch it because I want to remember what it was like, how I felt in that moment, and I don't want to look at it again because I think that might cloud how I felt at that particular time." So it's more about that emotional connection, that feeling that event brought to you. Yeah. So sometimes it's tricky. Everyone does it though.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought where you want to you want that moment to be special and not just, you know, having such easy access. Oh, I remember this, I was here. But yeah, I think it's also kind of like goes against where you want to tell your friends, your social network. Oh, I've been there.
Guaranteed. That as soon as the whistle goes to that, I reckon everyone will be on their phone. It's part of our lives now.
Yeah.
Fully integrated.
Yeah. And actually, this brings me to a point. The Final Exit Ultra, we have a scene detection optimization mode.
Right. Okay.
Where I think like it'll make like the videos, the photos look even better.
Okay.
It's in line with like what the user behavior is changing, right?
Yeah.
So, is this something that, you know, the organizers need to keep in mind, that you see more people taking out their phones?
I know, like I mentioned, I mean, for us, we're leaning into it. So we've got we've got a whole bunch of partnerships with, for example, with Snap, where we recognise, you know, at festivals, everyone wants to share. And you know, it's part of the experience, right? So we have to, like I said, when we look at how to enhance, you know, the fan journey, that's a great case in studies. You know, a great case point is that people want to create these stories and they want to share them to everyone. And I'll be the same. I want to create a little story about this weekend, and you know, my evening, and you know, I want to share it with my family and my sons, and so they can see.
You'll have the perfect device.
It'd be great.
Yeah. What more? I mean, the zoom capabilities on this is, like, I think, amazing. What special moments are you hoping to capture?
Well, yesterday, it's all about live action shots, right? And I imagine the camera and the phone would be great for that. But for me, I got a shot of Mika saving a goal, right? So, you know, it'd be great. Like I said, it's going to be a 6-5, you know, injury time, 95th minute.
Action-packed game.
Yeah, so it'd be great to get some content of the winning goal.
Yeah. You know, we were talking about like the future of like live events, you know, with Gen Z and younger audiences, you know, growing up in hybrid worlds. How do you design experiences that feel relevant and immersive to them?
Yeah, so, you know, for them it's experience rich. So how do we, you know, we're constantly coming up with new festival ideas and IPs. They really want to connect with people. So how do we create experiences that do that? So music is a part, but, you know, with a festival or a music festival, you know, the music's just one part of it. it's what else is going on. You know, we went to the fan village yesterday, right?
Yes.
Not really a lot of football going on, but what other cool activations and cool things, you know, you can do, right? Yeah, back in the 80s, SodaStream. So, you know, we all tried like a SodaStream and made some different, you know, things. We went to the OPPO activation where there was a great football match going on, and, you know, that was cool. Heineken had some great stuff. So yeah, it's like, how do you create those fun moments? How do you enhance the event? It's not just about the music or the football. What other cool things can I do when I'm there, which are memorable, which I can share on social content, you know, on social media?
Yeah. I mean, the OPPO booth had like a special like AI studio moment where you can take a picture and Yamal will be in your picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was some cool stuff you guys showed me. You can take off like people in the crowd, so it's just you and your friends and things like that. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna dive into that.
I think those moments are good in when you go to like touristy attractions.
Yeah.
Tourist attractions, you don't need to worry about people being in your background anymore. You don't have to like wake up super early to like fight the lines, fight the crowds.
Well, actually, I just thought of an application. Like, so sometimes we have VIP experiences where people go on stage, which is pretty memorable. You can imagine out of 55,000 people, if you're one of 10 or 20 people actually getting on the stage and seeing where the artist will perform. Sometimes because of the time, everything is so choreographed. You don't have a lot of time on the stage. So sometimes we do a group photo.
Yeah.
So what you could do with this phone is, with a group photo, you could just, the people that you don't want in the picture, you can erase, and there we go.
It's like a duet with
you've got your
Lady Gaga.
You've got your moment, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How has audience behaviors changed in recent years, and how are you guys adapting strategies to meet these evolving expectations and changing consumer behaviors?
I'd say it goes to the phone, right?
Yep.
So in the 80s or 90s, no one had a mobile phone, right? Whereas everyone does now. I think for me that's the biggest thing.
Biggest one. Yeah.
So again, and we've talked about leaning into that and creating partnerships where fans can share easier, create more stories. This is the best propaganda tool. Create that content and being able to sort of share with there are a lot of micro influencers that come to our events, right? So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, and I think that's a trend that's going to continue. So we're looking at augmented reality. That's something that we've done quite a lot of stuff at some of our events. So leaning into that and playing in that space, I think that's the key thing.
Yeah. When you mention augmented reality, it's like Pokemon Go, right?
Yeah,
I think
Pokemon Go.
People were like running around trying to catch.
We did some cool stuff with Hyundai, and we've created some products. So it's a good opportunity for us. So we've created some products and some case studies around that. Yeah. So yeah, technology is always advancing. So how can we use that to enhance the event and enhance the experience that people have at the event?
Yeah,
I think that's key.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and for some of our audiences who loves music, who wants to get into the field, what suggestions or advice do you have for them?
In the industry?
In this industry, like how do you break into this industry? Like what are some like tips and advices?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think a lot of people at work, they started young. So they started being promoters at university or when they were, roadies and things like that. So I think if you've got a passion for it, create an event, do something, try and sell a few tickets, try and create that experience, try and create something different, and start early, do something at university. Yeah. I think that would be key. Just try and get some sort of experience, even if you're working for free, or being being an intern.
15 quids a day.
£15 a day, yeah.
That's still very admirable that you transition from. I
wanted,
think you were doing pretty well.
I wanted to do it. I saw an opportunity to retrain for 6 months, so that's why I did it. Yeah.
If you were still, what would the James be like if you were still in finance?
I don't know. Probably maybe 10 stone heavier. A lot of lunches and dinners and stuff like that. But I'm glad I made the change.
Yeah, and I saved the last bit for the last. Can you tell us a bit about your adventure setting a Guinness World Record?
The Guinness World Record. Yeah. So look, certain milestones, age. So I turned 50. I wanted to do something for charity. Mm-hmm. So the National Brain Appeal and...
Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt. You're 50.
Yeah, 50.
What's your skincare regime? Please, you need to share with me.
Good genes.
Okay.
I thank my mum and dad for that. Thank you. So look, turned 50. It was COVID, so for someone who travels quite a lot, I hadn't travelled for a couple of years, which was challenging. Hadn't seen friends and family, but the charity, I really wanted to do something for charity. So the National Brain Appeal and St Francis Hospice were very close to my heart. And then my boys joked, I've got 2 teenage sons, they joked that, hey, how come you aren't in the Guinness Book of World Records? So I looked, I'm a skier, I've always skied, like my family ski. So I decided to ski the most countries in 1 month. And I came up with 30 in 30. So I wanted to ski 30 countries in 30 days. That's what I did.
That's your title. Huh?
That's the Guinness Book of World
How long do you foresee this title being?
So the record was held for 12 years before I broke it, and I think there was a record before that. So 12 years is a good stretch of time. It was super challenging. So I think I've done a pretty good job. Yeah. I think people are going to have to go through some pain to beat it. I did do 30. I ended up doing 30 in 27 days. So I probably could have maybe.
Squeezed in a few more countries.
Well, I joke. I left 2 days, so one of my sons could get 31, and the other could get 32 if they want to carry.
You leave some room for your sons.
The family tradition, yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So when your sons hear it, they'll be like, I'm gonna train for it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but you said it was challenging.
For sure.
Can you share, what was challenging about this?
I like everything. You can't really plan for something like this. I did. So actually, working in the live event industry was perfect. Perfect training for this.
Oops, always happen, right?
Yeah, things happen. You have to react in a very live environment. So there are all sorts of things. I was turned away at the Bosnian border. So day 4 or 5, instead of 30 in 30, I was looking at 23 in 30, which doesn't have quite the same ring. Yeah. Lack of snow was a real issue. Wow. So 5 countries didn't have snow. All the resorts were closed, so I had to work out a solution to try and get them to open. I nearly got stuck in Iceland, so I woke up in Iceland. There was an erupting volcano about 12 miles away.
Wow!
So I had to deal with that. Got pneumonia, got really sick towards the end. So that was pretty challenging, but it was challenging every step of the way. So it was pretty full on. I'm not sure I'd do it again, knowing what I would, but sometimes it's quite nice to be a little bit naive going into something.
Yeah, and I'm trying to understand the flow. So was this documented? How does it go?
So to verify the record is one of the most difficult things. So I think 30 or 40% of records don't get verified. So I was, having done all that work and raised all that money, and I was petrified that it wouldn't get verified, but. That whole process took months, so you have to submit photos. I had 3,000 photos, videos, a tracker. I had a satellite tracker so they could see exactly where I was. Witness statements. I had a couple of witness statements in each country. That was a challenge, turning up.
The language.
The language, minus 32, getting people's personal details, making sure the personal details were correct. It was pretty crazy.
And it was a one-man show.
Yeah, so I did it solo, but I had a huge amount of support in terms of, you know, friends and family, everyone who contributed and gave money to the charity and helped raise awareness, and, you know, finding out where there was snow and wasn't snow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a huge achievement.
Yeah, trying to work out. So I drove the first bit, 10,000 miles. And then the last bit I took 20, which was unexpected. I took 23 flights. And the only place I could go was Turkey. So I kept on flying in and out of Turkey. So, yeah, it was pretty.
And stopping in for the kebabs as well?
I ate a lot of, my memories, I ate a lot of cheese.
Cheese, oh yeah.
Like in Europe, because breakfast is a lot of cheese.
Yeah.
So I probably ate more cheese than I've ever eaten in my entire life.
So what's life like after the title?
So I literally, we had Coldplay in Singapore.
Yeah.
And my work was fantastic, but they said, look, it'd be great if you could make it, or if you could break the record quicker. So that's why. So I literally I finished the record in Scotland, did some media interviews, and then on the Tuesday morning I flew to Singapore straight from the airport to Coldplay, straight to work. So it never stops.
Work never stops.
It never stops. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So what was your favorite moment from this?
Favorite moment?
Or like the most unforgettable moment?
Yeah, so I would say it was much more. It wasn't about any particular slope or country or moment. I would say it was the people that I met along the way. That's what's super memorable, because, you know, in a very divided world, actually there was huge commonality between, you know, 30 different countries and people. So that's my binding memory, is that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to visualize it. You're like, hey, sign.
Yeah, no, there was some great. Everyone was so friendly. Everyone had heard of the Guinness World Record as well. Like everyone. But yeah, people's warmth and, you know, friendliness and helping me, and, you know, wanting to do good and raising money, and, you know, it was, you know, for the charities. It was great.
Yeah.
That's what I'll take away. That's what I'll take away from it.
Yeah. Well, I learned a lot about live entertainment, business, and also some steps to prepare yourself for a Guinness World Record. So
everyone's got a world record in them. So Danny, you've got a.
Yeah.
What's your record gonna be?
Yeah, it's like got me thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me know later today which record you're gonna break.
Yeah. But that's it for this episode of On the Spot with OPPO. Thank you very much, James.
Thank you
for all these insights, and yeah, let's have a good time on the game tonight with
absolutely 6-5.
Capture some good moments.
6-5.
Yeah, 6-5. 6-5.
6-5.
Fingers crossed.
6-5.
Yeah.